Hey everyone, welcome back to the best time of the week where we get to talk about The Last of Us. And I'm starting to get pretty sad because it's almost over. But this is an episode I've been looking forward to since forever. We're finally at the David episode. Now, spoilers for everything The Last of Us. He did a fantastic job. Somehow he was able to make the character creepier than he already was. They added this level of realism to him and just a little bit more to his backstory. The fact that he was a teacher but now has become a preacher, but he's also very dark and twisted in his own ways, and you see that kind of sprinkled in throughout the episode. It's really neat what they did. And we also get a little bit from his right hand man, James, who in the video game didn't play much of a big role at all, but he's actually a pretty special character in the show because he is played by Troy Baker, the voice actor for Joel in the video game. Now, I thought it was really cool that they were able to include the original Joel, and I'm pretty sure that they are supposed to include Ashley Johnson in the finale, who voiced Ellie in the video game. Now, we're not positive to what her role will be, but I think a lot of people can kind of guess. Now, I knew going in this was going to be a heavy episode. This is probably one of the most memorable parts from the game. There's a few parts from the game that people tend to bring up or talk about a lot, such as the previous scene with Joel getting stabbed, or the scene with Ellie in the farmhouse, or even Sarah dying in the beginning. These are all really key moments from the story that stick with people, and I think this episode is going to be the same deal. It's going to stick with people because the performances and the story and the plot points are just outstanding. We get to see Ellie surviving on her own, doing the best that she can to take care of Joel, who is dying in a basement, and they're starving and they're thirsty and they need medicine, and she's doing everything that she can, and she's finally able to shoot a deer. But the issue is, and when she goes to retrieve the deer, she runs into David and James. Now, obviously, Ellie is way too small to carry this deer back, or even to really skin it and get the meat off or cook it. It's all kind of a bigger task than I think she would even know how to do. I wouldn't know how to do it. But these guys offer up an ultimatum. They keep the deer in exchange for whatever she needs, and what she needs is medicine. Now, just like the game, this is a very tense moment, and as we learn more about David, we learn that David and his group have run into Ellie and Joel before, and the guy that stabbed Joel was originally from this group, and now they're kind of ticked off that he's dead, because I guess that's just the way the world works. You kill my guy, now I kill your guy. Now, the revelation to this was just as tense as in the game, because like I've said a million times, the acting in this show is perfect. Now, we learn that David is the leader of what is essentially a cult of cannibals, and they track Ellie back to where her and Joel are hiding out, and they do eventually capture Ellie. Ellie is held prisoner by these guys, and we get to see just how messed up this group of people is, and we get to see just how dark and twisted David actually is. He essentially wants to turn Ellie into a mini version of him, but in a really creepy and sus way, and we get to see the more violent side of Ellie and the more violent side of Joel. David points out that he can sense the violence within Ellie because he too is somebody with a lot of violence inside of him. And Joel gets to unleash on these guys as he's trying to track down Ellie and save her, and this just brought a big old smile to my face. Joel is going to do everything in his power to not let anything happen to Ellie, even if that means stabbing somebody in the kneecap and nearly popping it out.
I don't know any girl. Oh, Jesus! Marco.
No. He can't help you. You focus right here.
All of this escalates into the final climactic fight between David and Ellie, and this is the whole episode is essentially a shot-for-shot recreation of the game. And since this was such a big part of the game, I'm really glad that they chose this route. The confrontation between Ellie and David plays out essentially the same as it did in the game. And when David gets the upper hand on Ellie, he tries to do unmentionable things before she turns him into a hamburger patty. Now, her whole story has essentially led to this moment. Every episode, she starts to lose her innocence a little bit more. Layer by layer, the world will start to shape and change you into into this person. You kind of adapt to the world that you're living in order to survive. And that's exactly what Ellie does. And it all leads to this moment. And this scene seemed to linger a little bit longer than it did in the game. And you really feel the weight of this moment, and you feel like Ellie's fate kind of changes a little bit. Now finally Joel finds her, and we get the moment where these two fully embrace each other. Every time he calls her baby girl, my heart melts. This scene absolutely destroyed me the very first time I saw it in the game, and I have a feeling that it did this for a lot of people who have never seen it before. Now, as always, the production on this show is phenomenal. Every set that they create is perfect. Every little detail that they add, the acting, the cast, everything is perfect. And while I think this was a really great episode, it isn't without some nitpicks. Now, I believe this will be one of the highest rated episodes behind episode 5, but I wish it was a little bit longer. I wish we had like 20 more minutes. As much as I hate to say it, it does feel a little bit rushed, and I hope this doesn't carry over into the next episode. We only have one episode left, and it's supposed to be the big one, and this is a very big moment for a lot of people. You know, so far they've done an excellent job, and I think that the finale is going to determine how people remember this show. You know, did they drop the ball in the end, or did they see it all the way through? I have a feeling it's going to be great, and then after the finale, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm just going to cry and be sad. Maybe I'll replay part 1 again for like the 12th time. But let me know what you thought. Was this your favorite episode so far? Was it a little bit rushed? That's it for now, and as always, I'll see you next time. See ya.
Looking down, I see you below. When I get too close, the winds will blow. I keep on falling faster.